So, if you thought I was a little harsh and extreme before, well, buckle your ass in. I'm getting really, really freaking annoyed with this whole manosphere bullshit. And that is exactly what it is. It's a bunch of bullshit. So, you guys might have heard me say once or twice, no, do I want to approach it like that? Yeah, screw it, let's approach it like that. You have probably heard me say once or twice, which actually means a bunch of times. There's a little bit of truth in every lie, and a little bit of lie in every truth. That's just kind of the way we're built. All of us. Right? So, what are we getting into right now? The manosphere. As you guys know, been divorced for a few years now. Basically had my entire life ripped away from me. Caused years of depression, in which case I was the bad guy. And everybody treated me as such. Right? That's typical these days, whether a guy deserves it or not. It's pretty typical. But the weaponizing that these people do, and make no mistake, they use it as a way to manipulate and control you. Think about that for a second. Now, they might entice you by going through... Hi, guys. By going through situations, and they're pretty general situations that a lot of people, man or woman, really deal with. And they like to reflect on it and call it like the man's burden and this and that and the other. I don't know. I really don't know what school of life you went to, but for every man that's been wronged, there's been a woman that's been wronged. For every woman that's been wronged, there's a man that's been wronged. Like, it's like a man saying, well, I'm going to be gay because all the women in my life fucked me over. One has to sit down and think. One really has to sit down and think. Is it that every woman is evil and fucked you over? Or is it because you are a poor judge of character and your type might be a narcissist? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about the accountability you have to take for the things that go wrong in your life? I sit down and listen to all these men say how it's so much more peaceful being single, like they don't have this to deal with. That. Let me let you in on a little fact. And if you've come around here for any amount of time, I'm not left, I'm not right, you're all fucking idiots for participating. And even this subject is something that was designed by them to divide all of us. They want men going their own way. Bill Gates, not even 2 or 3 years ago, held a conference saying, this is how we need to reduce the population of the world so we can survive. And, men, you think it's women? Women, you think it's men? No. This is not obfuscating those fucktards out there, right? Because even if you might not believe it, there are a bunch of fucktards that are men. There are a bunch of fucktards that are women. All right? It's the same on both sides of the fence. If you are deciding, I'm going to go be gay or I'm going to go be lesbian because I've been fucked over in my life, do you think it's going to be any different on the other side of the fence? Because everyone has a type. And you really need to sit down and do some reflection over your own life and the choices that you have made to lead up to you being with that certain person that fucked you over. How many times did they display red flags that you brushed off? Or you conveniently was like, it's a one-time thing. Like, No. The onus and responsibility, and I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, the onus and responsibility of everything is on your shoulders to make the right decision. If the man is coming in there trying to make you put him before the kids that you already have, that's a huge red flag. Like, I got a fucker in the other room that did that to my mother. Oh, I'm the man of the house now. You got to put me before your kids. Motherfucker, my oldest is disabled with cerebral palsy. Like, there's no way in hell you're going to be put first before that motherfucker. And same thing with women. Like, if you're coming into a man's life and you are telling him you have to come first when he had a family before you, he has kids before you, no, sorry, sweetheart, ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. This whole manosphere thing, and I'll dub the other side the woman sphere, it is a problem of our own creation. Too many times have we been taught to deal with fucked up shit in this world when we knew better deep down inside. But for whatever reason, because you needed to feel loved, because you needed to feel like you belonged, because you had to feel like you were important to somebody and you weren't invisible to the world, you brushed aside your own standards. You brushed aside your knowing better and just hope for the best. Right? I know I've done it. As above, so below, as within, so without. So I know if I've done it, I know all of you have done it. So, far be it for any of us to point the finger of blame at everyone else but ourselves. We have control over our own lives, regardless of what you might have been taught. You are the sovereign being. You came into this world alone. You're going to go out of this world alone. The responsibility from beginning to end is on you. You allowed it to happen. You allowed yourself to get fucked over. And then you came back for more. You allowed this to happen. And then you came back for more. But Dustin, it wasn't with the same person. That shows pattern. That shows behavior. And in this world, more than the face you put on, more than the words that come out of your mouth, consistency. Consistency with whatever you show is who you are. And you can't hide from it. Have you ever Have you ever seen, any football fans out there, have you ever seen a quarterback go into a game and they start talking about, well, this guy was pretty crappy, like he wouldn't make it in the NFL if he didn't like change his mechanics. But then under pressure, that quarterback reverts back to what he's already comfortable with. Everything under pressure reverts back to base settings, we'll say, right? So how is your life, my life, any different, right? These people, these men, these women, they don't give a fuck about you. They give absolutely zero fucks about you. The only thing they care about is if you're hitting subscribe, if you're liking the video to boost it in the algorithm, and if you watch their videos for a certain amount of time. Because at a certain amount of time, they get paid. If you ever watch a video, that's why it's very weird for you guys to come around here, because I get directly to the point. I don't ask for your subscription. I might ask for your like just to show who's acknowledging the conversation. But I don't ask for anything. And they're short. I get right to the point. I make that point, and then I dip. I leave you guys to think about it on your own. I leave you to form your own thoughts and opinions. Because for too long in this godforsaken world, people walk around hearing answers from someone else and passing that shit off like they know what they're talking about. It's not true. And they are weaponizing your loneliness and your frustration and your anger toward your former partner, whether it be of the opposite sex, the same sex, or whatever, right? They are weaponizing this so you feel compelled. You feel helpless. You feel hopeless. And they make it to where you feel like you need them. You don't need them. You don't need anybody. You need two things in this world. One, you need to know who the fuck you really are. And two, you need to know where your line is drawn. That's it. If you know who you are on the inside, and you are an authentic, genuine human being, you're present at all moments in your life, and still you're responsible enough to think about the future. That's all you need. You know where your line is drawn. You know what you're willing to put up with. You know what you're not willing to put up with. And because you know yourself so well, you can usually figure motherfuckers out in half a second. You can see the red flags before they even pop off. So, I know this isn't going to stop. I know this is just an observation, and it's going to fly over everyone's head. They're just going to continue to play the victim, because there is a serious lack of accountability in this world. A serious lack. We are all so desperate to be the victim. It's pathetic. And this is coming from somebody who was born physically disabled. I have every reason in the fucking world to play the victim. And I don't. It's much more fun being the villain. And before you label a villain as a bad guy, perhaps you should go and look up some fundamental psychology before you do. You see, it breaks down into two things. Either you're the villain, you have control over your life, you have everything in its place the way you want it, you're a sovereign being, or you're the victim. It's always somebody else's fault. Somebody else always screwed you over. It's never you. It's never it's the situation you were put in. It was never the decision you made. Everybody wants to be obfuscated from responsibility. They would rather point the finger, right? We'll say a guy now. They would rather point the finger at the woman and say she needed too much, or she was too much to handle, or I went on a date with this girl and she was already asking like when I was planning on settling down. That's not their problem. That's your problem. That person that was sitting across from you, as long as she's not having 5 kids and automatically telling you you're responsible for all of them, but you have no decision making because you're not the father. If they aren't that, then it's you. It's entirely you. If you go on a date with somebody and they're asking about your financial goals for the next 5 years, if they're asking about where you see yourself personally, and that's not somebody that's looking to get into your checkbook, motherfucker. That's somebody that wants to see somebody with goals and a solid foundation to stand on in case anything bad happens. And to be honest, you should probably be asking the same fucking questions and not just worrying about, if I get her into bed, is she a good lay, and then I can stay with her. And the same goes for you women. The same. Like, if all you're caring about is that a man is good looking, and not that, like, he's actually emotionally a match for you, personality-wise a match for you, he's great with your kids, anything like that, like, that's on your ass. He's got to be 6 foot, have a 6-pack, he's got to have at least a 6-figure income, which, to be fair, we already know, to exist in America in this day and age, you can't earn anything less than $200,000 to live modestly. Not comfortably, modestly now. And that within itself is a whole different ballgame, which I've touched on here and there, but I haven't dedicated a live to it. The fact that our parents, well, I'm 44, so my parents are boomers. The fact that my parents could have a minimum wage job, own a home, raise a 5-person fucking family, and within 20 years, it jumped up enough to where I can't even afford a house on a 6-figure income. Yeah, that's not a man problem. That's not a investment problem. That is not any kind of problem other than they deliberately fucked us. Like, you guys get that, right? At the end of the day, at the end of the fucking day, whether you want to admit it to yourselves or not, this whole thing is by design. And actually, hold on, so I don't have to, hold on, let me jog my memory. After we're done here, you guys should probably go look up something called Systematic Design. It was a book that came out in late 70s, early 80s. Alright? Government licensed this motherfucker to basically put a formula in place on how to make us more susceptible to suggestion, less critical in our thinking behavior, and basically break us down to the point where our mentality and our willpower is that of children. Everything that men are complaining about today, everything that women are complaining about today, this was all set up and put in place before you or I were ever born. They were planning on subjugating everyone. Literally. Whether it be by sex, sexual preference, race, income, looks. Like, please tell me I'm not the only adult in the room. Please tell me I'm not the only adult in the room and you all see this. It's not an excuse to play victim. It's meant to be ammo for your arsenal. Oh, I talked about arsenal. Ooh, cops are going to get called now. To say that this was done to us is not a lie. To say that all this was put in place before we were born is not a lie. It's not giving you the right to play victim, but it is acknowledging that some part of this was not your fault. But the rest, allowing them to influence you because of culture, allowing them to influence you because of your gender, allowing them to influence you because of your race, allowing them to influence you because of your checkbook, everything. This is all systemically designed to separate all of us. One, they want men going their own way because they know the fucking truth. Alright? Now, are you ready for the truth portion of this? I hope so. Why are they doing all this to us? Well, I'm glad you asked. Because I'm about to tell you. Alright? See, at any one time, the government is 50 years ahead of wherever we're at. And this is not just technology, mind you. This is everything. They are 50 years ahead. Now, I'm going to piss some people off. I'm going to ruin some worldviews here. But we are not in the end times. Sorry to tell you. We're not in the apocalypse. We are in the downward trajectory of an empire. Most times, empires only last for about 2 to 250 years. Most. A lot of people like to throw Rome in there and be like, no, it existed for thousands of years and blah, 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 blah. They called it the Roman Empire, ladies and gentlemen. But actually, that thing rose to power and crashed back down so many fucking times that it's all just lumped together. Instead of age 1, age 2, age 3. They just lumped it all together. So, in actuality, Rome actually was several different empires over the course of like 2,000 years. It would go up, they'd hold it for about 200 to 250 years, and then down. Where am I getting with all this? I'm glad you asked. See, the government at any one time is 50 years ahead of us. technology, everything else. So that means they already see the trajectory humanity's on, right? That's why you have so many causes, right? Save the rainforest, save this, save that, like clean air initiative, blah, 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 blah. We need to go green. Part of this is marketing strategy to get you to buy the same old bullshit with a different label on it, right? Part of this is marketing strategy to get you to buy the same shit with a different label. But here's something that they know that most of us don't, all right? They have the statistics going 50 to 100 years ahead. They know where our trajectory lies. And guess what our trajectory says? That we were in a global cooling period for thousands and thousands of years. It's a natural cycle the Earth goes through. It's like fuckers out there saying that we're going to destroy the rainforest, we're going to destroy all this shit. Carlin said it best. George Carlin, if you don't know who the fuck that is. The planet ain't going anywhere. We are. You see, they caught on a long time ago. Same with mind control and everything else. MK Ultra, all that other bullshit that they like to do since the 40s and 50s and all that shit. They found out that within a certain time period, the Earth was going to shift. And this cooling period that we were on was going to switch, and it was going to start warming back up gradually. That's what they're scared of. They aren't scared that you and I are going to ruin the world. They know that shift has already happened. And they selfishly know the only way that they can survive is by the rest of us, so all resources are for them. Because let's not forget, hopefully some of you paid attention in science class. Let's not forget, the Earth has gone through warming and cooling periods for millions of years. Millions of years. It is documented. You can find cave installations that ancient humans lived in when it wasn't feasible to live on the fucking surface. The Earth is going to continue to do the same thing it's always done. And they're just realizing that if they don't control the population, there won't be enough resources for them to store away to make sure their selfish asses survive. Like I said earlier today, right? They're 1%. We're 99. Is it not in their best interest to separate us as much as possible? Men hating women, blacks hating whites, straight hating gays. All of it. It's situational design. So you, me, and everybody else are too transfixed on the minuscule bullshit we go through. I got fucked over. This guy's a racist. Blah, blah. You guys don't understand me for being disabled. Blah, blah. Get it? Because of people that come together and rise up together cannot be stopped by a minority, regardless of how much money and influence and property they control. The last time this happened, it was called the French Revolution. Anybody remember what you learned in school about that? The bourgeoisie were fucked. They're taken out and put to the guillotine. That is what oligarchs and everybody in their community are fucking terrified of. So they are going to create, and these are people that play the long game, ladies and gentlemen. They don't care about short-term gains. They make you believe that in how they run their businesses by keeping you so focused on the ball, what's right in front of you. You can't see 5 years down the road. You can't see 10 years down the road. You can't plan for anything anymore like our parents used to be able to do. This is all situational design. And it was all done on purpose. So we could not rise up and take the power back that is rightfully all of ours. This whole country was founded on the thought of we, the people. Not we, the elite, not we, the rich, we, the people. Because we believed in taxation with representation. Not taxation without, which, isn't it funny? Isn't it funny? 250 years later, 250 fucking years later, we are now England. We are still going through taxation without representation. You got, and besides all the ranting, you do learn a bit about what I just said. But isn't it funny that taxation was never a thing until 1913? Taxation was never a fucking thing until 1913. Do you know why? I'll tell you why. Because up until that point, from the oldest generation that was living at the time to the youngest, they were taught self-reliance. They were taught self-sovereignty. I take care of my own. We take care of everybody around here. Barter and trade. Everybody equal. Don't fucking matter what you look like. Don't matter what you got between your legs. If you got something valuable, bring it to the table. I will trade you this for that, blah, 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 blah. They didn't want that anymore. They wanted control. They wanted us, even back then, relying on them. So what did they do? They used the First World War as an excuse to pass a taxation law. They told everybody at the time, this is a one-time thing. Just because we're dipping because of the war, it'll never happen again. They agreed. But the government did something that they didn't tell the people about. They put this little clause in there that they put in everything ever since. And that is, if the need ever arises and we vote for it, we have the right to tax you again. Keep that in mind. And this is where the whole overpromise, underdeliver thing with politicians come from. You can thank Rockefeller. You can thank Rothschild. Because not even 10 years later, the taxation of 1923 happened. And who remembers history class? And from that point on, the government has been in control and had an out for removing your freedoms one by one until they're gone. Until we get to this day and age where we're born into a society that doesn't know any better. It doesn't. It does not know any better. All we know is what we were born into until this very point. We don't know the freedoms that were given up on our behalf before we were ever born. We don't know what life was really supposed to be like for a sovereign American citizen. All we know is your life's hard. Give up this little bit of rights right here, and we'll make your life easier. But let me look around real quick. Answer me this. Answer me this honestly. We're giving up those freedoms to make your life easier. Worth it. Because now it has every single person that's born into this system thinking they're worthless, thinking they don't have power. Oh shit, I need Jesus. No. Speaking about being born into things that we never agreed to. How about that religion topic? You literally believe in a motherfucker that was a practicing, militant, faithful Jew. He literally taught human beings how to be sovereign in a time where they were ruled over by the Roman Empire. Oh, look, there comes Rome all the way back again. And you have the audacity to say, I need Jesus, when you just confirmed that you're bought into the one of the oldest cults imaginable. There is a reason, all right? There is a reason why the phrase, your body is a temple, has been around forever. I mean, we use it for health standards today. But it is a standing parable to show you your relationship with your Creator, whether you want to call it God, the universe, whatever. Right? That phrase exists not as a health term for you get healthy today. That was a phrase that was created thousands of years ago. Keep that in mind. Your body is a temple. That was created thousands of years ago to show you you don't need religion. You don't need someone telling you how to be a good person. You don't need direction. Because your Creator, call it the universe, call it God, whatever, even though ancient texts do show that if you worship wrong, if you respond wrong, you're not going to get the results that you probably would if you approach it the right way. By you telling me that I need Jesus just confirms that you are as indoctrinated as the next person, you are reliant on it, and personally, somebody told me this a long time ago and it's always stuck with me. A spiritual person is only looking for answers. A religious person is looking for a reward. i.e., the person that lives it understands it. The person that preaches about it is looking for a bailout. You guys realize that, right? Like religion, all forms of religion is just a mechanism for them to control you, for them to get money from you, so they don't have to put in a hard day's work like you do. It's literally scamming the system the same way that, that thing that Tom Cruise belongs to. Same thing. There's a reason why Scientology looks up to Christianity because they perfected the control model. They learned that after a couple generations and the old people die off, the new people coming in would be born under this indoctrination, and they would never second guess it, and they would never stop believing, because they would never show them the actual truth. When the actual truth is, if you just went to one AA meeting and you learned the STEP program, that's literally all you need. Religion is literally the STEP program in AA, just drawn out over your whole lives, guilt tripping you into thinking that you need this. And I mean, look how people act now. You're all walking piles of shit, and you think going to church one day a week and asking for forgiveness makes you a better person and saves your soul. Ugly is ugly. And whether you karmically pay for it in this life, well, we'll say karmically pay for it earlier in life, or if the universe just hits you all at the end and makes you suffer, you're going to see. You're going to see how wrong you really were. And you should listen to that little voice in your head that always tells you what's right and wrong. You should have listened to your gut, because your gut's never wrong. Your gut is God. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. You don't need a church to worship your Creator when your Creator is right here talking to you the whole fucking time. I don't know how else to plainly put it. Like, you have been so brainwashed. You have been so lied to. And you're so ignorant and trusting. You don't even know the first question to ask. All you're taught to do is play the victim. Because when you're talking about something, when you're bitching about something, nothing getting done. Do or do not. There is no try. Talking is not action. Action is action. And that's why they want us talking. That's why they want us bitching. That's why they want us playing victim. Because if we were ever really able to realize the power we really hold, if you were somebody that just got up off your ass, instead of talking about it, actually did something about it. I'm not talking about shootings. I'm not talking about anything like that. I'm not talking about violence. No. I'm not a pacifist, but I will never start a fight. But I will be the one to end it. As long as you're talking, you're not doing anything. And they condition you to think. They condition you to think that if you're talking about it, you're actually doing something. No. The only real way to affect change is to be that change. In other words, you need to walk the fucking walk instead of talking the talk. Remember how I said spiritual people want to go out there for answers, where religious people just want to play victim and get a reward? Think about that for a second. A spiritual person is somebody that wants to know the grand answers to it all. Why we're here, what this is for, blah, blah, blah. They're embracing that this life is all they have. They're expecting it to be that. But they're just wondering what the purpose of all of it is. A religious person, the first thing you're taught in Sunday school, the first thing you're fucking taught, right? That there's a heaven. And we're all going to go there one day. As long as we're not bad people. As long as Jesus saves our souls. Let me tell you where this really came from. This really came from the existential crisis of the human consciousness that fights with itself because it cannot accept death. It cannot accept that this life we're given, this shitty little fucking life, is all there is. So religion teaches you to suffer through this because there's immortality at the end. You get to see everybody that passed on. And even in certain religions, you get a harem of virgins and you can live forever and do whatever you want. The streets are made out of gold and blah, 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 blah. Religion was designed to quell the human fear of death and use it as a controlling component to get the masses to do what the fuck they want you to do. Remember that.